right, hello everybody. Welcome to our Farm to School webinar training. My name is Morgan Nunes and I am California Foundation for Agriculture in the Classroom's Outreach Coordinator. A little bit about myself. I come from a dairy farming background in Turlock, California. Grew up in 4-H, doing 4-H and FFA, where I showed other species such as sheep, goats, chickens, etc. And joining with me today will be my colleague, Mandy Bottoms, which she's our curriculum coordinator. Mandy comes from Davis, California, where her family farms several different row crops. And you guys will get to meet her a little bit later. So just a few details before we get started. You guys will be muted the whole time and your video is off. And then the whole time during this webinar, the Q&A chat box is open. And so we'll stop in the middle and you guys will get to ask us some questions. Just to let you know, this webinar is being recorded and it'll be available to all participants at the end. And then make sure you stay on until the very end because we have some really awesome door prizes that we'd love to give away to you guys. So who are we? We are the California Foundation for Agriculture in the Classroom. We're a nonprofit organization, and our main goal is to educate teachers about agriculture. We do this mainly through developing free resources for teachers. Everything that we do, like I said, is free and on our website, easily accessible to download, and everything aligns to the California state standards. This is our website, learnaboutag.org. Pretty easy to remember, it's just learn about ag. Right here, this is the main page when you first open our website. You can see there's different tabs about us, teaching resources, programs and events, grants and scholarships, ways to help. I wanted to just highlight this grant that you see up here that says Literacy for Life. We have a bunch of different grant opportunities throughout the year, and this is the one that is coming up. The deadline's October 2nd. And so if you guys are interested, you guys can go to our website, learnaboutag.org, and apply for this grant. This grant is granted to any and all kinds of teachers. 25 teachers are selected for $500. This is for teachers who want to start a new program or project at their school, or to build on top of existing programs.
Okay, we are going to have two surveys today. This is our first pre-training survey. If you can take your phone and scan the QR code, it's super brief, I think 4 questions. Please make sure you fill it out because we're using the responses from the survey for our door prizes at the end of the webinar. So you definitely want to scan it, make sure you get your name and your email because that's how we'll connect with you after the training and then answer those 4 short questions. All right. Hi, I'm Mandy. Thank you everyone who completed the survey. And I did get a message. I know there were a few people that couldn't access via the QR code. We dropped the link to the survey so you don't miss out on those door prizes in the webinar chat. So if you go to the chat box, you should see a link there and you can also be included in our drawing at the end of the webinar today. All right, I get to talk a little bit about what is farm to school. And as a farmer myself, I enjoy talking about this. We have pumpkins growing right now and almonds being harvested. So it's fun to come on here and be able to share with all of you what farm to school is. Farm to school is a movement that promotes the use of locally produced foods in schools. Successful programs have a really multifaceted approach. It's not just one, just by serving local foods, you're not going to have students understanding farm to school. So that's part of it, but not all of it. So you can see here, there's a picture to represent the different facets of farm to school. It's serving those foods in the cafeteria, promoting buying locally among your students, tasting locally produced foods and sharing with students about where they come from. Student field trips, or, in this day and age, we do a lot of video field trips or virtual field trips is another option. And then encouraging your students to consume locally produced foods. That's farm to school. And what I love about farm to school is really everyone benefits. So students, and we're going to get to those benefits in just a minute, the schools benefit from connecting with their local community. Farmers benefit, there's economic benefits to farmers being able to directly sell their produce to a school district. And then all of that communities benefit as families are strengthened through the nutrition and the connection to where their food comes from. there has been a lot of research about farm to school programs, which is really neat. Now, granted, every farm to school program is probably a little bit different, and I know yours is unique in the fact that it's an after school program, but here are just a few of the outcomes research has shown about farm to school programs. The first one, improve nutrition. There's been research that indicates that students who participate in these types of programs actually eat more fruits and vegetables. So even, forgetting about the locally part, they're just eating better because of these programs. They do eat more local foods. There is a study in 2015 that showed that these programs increase the proportion of locally sourced foods in the school cafeteria and in school meals, which is great. Support for local farmers. Farm to school programs provide some economic benefits to local farmers and communities. The National Farm to School Network has reported that these programs are a great way to create new markets for local products and support local farmers financially. And then education and food literacy, as students learn about consuming local produce, are also learning about how it's grown and where it comes from, which I have to say, Ag in the Classroom, that's one of our greatest passions, is for students to have a better understanding about the love and care and hard work that goes into the food that's produced. After that, we have health and wellness, which is a little bit related. The Center for Disease Control in 2019 highlighted how these programs have actually helped reduce childhood obesity and improve students' overall health. And then this one kind of blows my mind. There's actually an academic connection. So research has suggested many times, there's a lot of studies about this, that those students who participate in farm to school activities actually have some positive outcomes in the academic world too. And the theory is that by engaging in these really hands-on, super interesting, learning about the world around you is a great way to increase student engagement and their interest in academic learning. So these benefits vary depending on your specific farm to school program, but I love that the whole point of this is that they have numerous positive effects on the students that you're working with. So that's why it's so important for us to share that with you. So we are going to dive into the farm to school program components that we will be offering each school site through this this grant program. And so the first one we're going to start with are posters that are available. These are posters, we're not sending them to every school site, but I did want to let you know that you can get these at learnaboutab.org. And we'll have the direct link at the end of the presentation. But these are really fun. You can print these out and use them as handouts or put it up in the classroom on your own or wherever your class meets in the after school environment. It includes some science information on the botany of the produce, nutritional benefits, which we call food for fuel. How does it fuel your body? There's a farmer quote and a picture of the farmer to connect them to where that food's coming from. I think they're pretty funny jokes on these posters too. And then they're also really amazing facts. We try to have like a Guinness Book of World Records fact on each one, in which the students go crazy for. So this is just kind of a fun additional thing that you can find on our website and use to help supplement the program in your after school environment. The next thing that we are offering are monthly newsletters. And I have to say, you will get these every month delivered to your school site. And they highlight a number of different things. There is a farmer profile, which helps you learn about how the product is produced in California. There's that same food for fuel information about nutrition. Then we have a really fun feature, and I'm going to show it to you because it's not on the screen. And this is called Play with Your Food. And when we were developing these, we thought, there's a lot of recipes out there, but my kids, but in fact, it drives me crazy sometimes. And so we said, what if we made it really fun, no cooking involved, very light materials, and the students would actually create something with their food, and then they could choose to, eat it or try it after they're done creating. So every month you'll also receive an idea for Play with Your Food. And then down at the bottom is a full lesson plan. This is the lesson plan here, and then there's a handout that goes with each lesson plan. This one for tomatoes is a salsa dissection, and our goal was to make it fairly low key and you be able to do it fairly quickly. So it's not going to take multiple days to try out the activity. And then I've got a couple more things on the back. We have a virtual field trip, which you can access by the QR code, or you can obviously you can click it on our website. You can click it because it's a PDF and you can go somewhere. So I know field trips are expensive. They're hard to do sometimes. Every student can go on a field trip with this QR code. And then we have a section called Dig Deeper, and that gives you ideas to check of books to get from your library, either school library or local library, additional websites, and then other lesson plans and resources. I think all of them are free, that you can use to supplement whatever you're teaching or whatever commodity you're teaching about. So we are going to take a minute, and I'm going to check and see if we have any questions in the chat. Okay, great. Somebody's just letting us know that they're in groups. So I don't think that there's any questions at this point. So we're going to jump in and do our first activity. So the first activity is called Grape Engineering. And this is a play with your food activity that's very low material. And what you do is you give the students a challenge of what to build with their grapes. And we have a number of different ideas on there. They can build an animal out of grapes, which I've seen some really cute ones like that look like those like balloon animals, because you're using these fun, rounded grapes. But today's challenge that you're going to do at your school sites is to build a tower out of grapes. So what you're going to want to do is you should have your materials there. All you need are your toothpicks and your grapes, and you're going to work together to build the tallest tower you can. So we're going to give you 5 minutes to work on that tower, and then we'll check back in once you're done. Go build those grapes.
All right, I hope you guys had fun creating your grape towers. If you guys would like to tag us on Instagram, take a picture of your grape towers so we can see your beautiful creation, and tag us on Instagram or Facebook. Learn About Ag is our handle. The next part we're going to talk about is our commodity mini books. These are a portion of this program. Each month has their own commodity mini book. It looks like this when it's folded up, a little book like this. But they come like this, and you can just download these on our website, and then you fold them up and they become this. These are really fun and easy, accessible, also fun because they're black and white, and then your students can color them. I want to read a part of the orange one, the citrus one that I have here. It says, Cara oranges have a round shape and bright orange skin like a traditional orange. However, you might be surprised by their unusual pink flesh. So your students can have fun with coloring in the orange skin, but then the pink flesh inside the orange. And then they're also fun because they're small enough and easy enough to take home so that they can also share these at home with their families.
Hi, Christopher Coelho, crop manager at Wolf Farming. I manage the processing tomatoes as well as some of the organic and conventional garlic. Growing up in a farming family, I always wanted to follow in my father's footsteps and learn how to grow the different fruits and vegetables as well as he did. So it was always a dream of mine to become a farmer. So the biggest difference between producing regular tomatoes, which are the fresh market tomatoes normally found in the grocery store, and processing tomatoes, which wind up in salsa and pasta, tomato sauce. The biggest difference in growing them is that they're grown differently. They're not grown on a trellis. They're processing tomatoes are grown on the soil, on beds, and processing tomatoes are genetically different than fresh market tomatoes. So they're grown to be indeterminate. So what that means is that the breeders have bred them to be ripen at a certain day interval, specifically 120 to 125 days. Whereas fresh market tomatoes, they want them to keep producing tomatoes over a long period, and so they're indeterminate. They're not bred to be ready and all ripe at the same time. I think most people would be surprised at the sheer volume per acre that's produced of processing tomatoes. It's pretty phenomenal. There's over 2 truckloads, 25-ton truckloads of tomatoes per acre. You start running the numbers, and you wind up with like 100,000 tomatoes an acre. Like it's a huge number. And I think that's pretty phenomenal in itself, considering that it's all machine harvested at such a rapid pace. So even large farms tend to be diversified. So although they grow a lot of acres of one specific type of commodity, they usually grow 2 or 3 other commodities as well. But one of the benefits to growing so many acres of a certain type of commodity is the efficiency that you gain in the different processes. Whether it's harvesting, because you have such a large capital expenditure in the harvest equipment, you're able to spread that over a larger amount of acres to make the numbers work. It wouldn't make sense for a 40-acre grower to go out and buy a $500,000 harvest machine. You have to have enough volume to go through that machine to justify it. So one of the cases for larger farms is that you're able to use better and newer equipment because you can spread the capital cost over the acreage. In most of the crops, I tend to like the bloom period, right? First fruit set following bloom. The plants are usually at their healthiest. They're very vibrant, and you have all the optimism and hope of a new growing season. As a vegetable grower, we get the benefit of wiping the slate clean and starting new every season, which is really nice. Some of the permanent crop growers have it a little more difficult because once you make a mistake, it sticks around for years and years. So as a vegetable grower, I enjoy the bloom springtime of the tomato season. We're playing around with some automated weeders that are actually, we ran one this season that was it was battery powered, and it was a robotic camera system. And that was really exciting to see. Basically one person was doing the job of what would take 30 people 3 or 4 days. So that was pretty interesting to see. The technology is almost there. I think perhaps in a year or two, and then we'll be able to say that, yes, we have something very exciting going on the farm. You have ketchup that's on your everyday American burger. You have salsa on your Mexican food. You have your Italian food with pasta sauce. I love them all. Okay, so one of the most important things I learned at school, and I hope that everybody listening to this hears, is math. Math is very, very, very important. I use it on a regular basis, whether I'm calculating yields, I'm trying to figure out for water or irrigation systems, what availability we have on the ranch. So math is very, very, very important. And I wish I took more math classes while I was in school. I'm a father with three young kids, all under 5. So doing some babysitting is part of my job, my hobby now. But actually, I have a 5-acre cherry farm that I actually have a hobby farm outside of my farming, and that is actually what I do for fun. I hop on the tractor, and I get to do all the fun jobs that I don't necessarily get to do while I'm a crop manager.
All right, so that was Chris, and he was sharing with us. He's the same person featured in our newsletter for the month of September and his tomatoes. And if we could go back to the last slide, I wanted to share that those videos were an important piece of this project because we really wanted students to understand who are these people behind the food. For some of them, especially students who might live in a more urban background or environment, they might see farmers as these people like really far away, wearing their overalls, maybe carrying a pitchfork. I don't know what they think. But we wanted them to see, most of these growers are just like you or us. They are parents, they have families, they like certain subjects when they were in school. And we really try to portray farmers as an important part of the community because of what they produce and trying to make those connections like, I eat pasta sauce. Oh, I love salsa. Most kids, ketchup is my favorite thing to put on my X, Y, and Z, probably all of them. So we really wanted for students to get a good picture of who these growers were. And then we also tried to build in some positive messaging about students and their ability to build skills now, even while they're young, that will help them when they pursue their passions as they get older. So trying to inspire students a little bit with these two, not just about food, but about who they want to become as well. Great. The next thing we want to show you is a binder that each of you will be either have received or will be receiving. This is our Taste and Teach binder. And it's a little overwhelming, I'm sure, when you first get it because it has so much in it. The main things I want to touch on is that it's divided by each month. So if you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing any given month, you can turn to that month and see that in September, I'm teaching about tomatoes, and it also gives you fun facts about the tomatoes, mostly about how they're grown in California locally. And then also some teaching ideas, which might be, this one says brainstorm common meals that have tomatoes in them. Who can name the most? So that's something you could have groups do together as a competition. Here's another video about tomatoes that they can go to in the links there. So it's full of supplemental materials that you can use as you're implementing the program at your after school sites. There's also ideas for food tasting experiences. I really like that part because I think sometimes we get stuck on how to make taste testing interesting. So maybe it's comparing different varieties of an apple. Maybe it's comparing different forms of tomato, different tomato products. Maybe it's doing dried pear versus canned pear versus fresh pear. So it gives you all of those ideas in here so that you have ideas of how you want to implement it in your program. And then a couple other little tidbits I want to share is there's a permission slip that you can use to send home with your students to make sure that you don't have any food allergies. and that they can taste all of the things. And then there's also a taste testing response sheet that you can hand out before you do any tasting, and they get to record their little face. You draw a face of how you feel about the food. So they might be, nervous or excited or, oh, I didn't like that. So it's kind of a fun way to engage students from the youngest kindergartners, to the oldest students that you're working with. And I think that's all I wanted to share about that. There's a lot in here. So take some time to peruse it. If you're like, I have no idea what we're going to do for Apple Month, you can't say that after you look in here because there's so much. So check it out and you'll be happy that you did, I think. All right, the next thing I get to show you are student newspapers that you will be receiving for each student in your program. So every student gets one of these. They get to take it home and share it with their families, but there's also activities they can do at school. So every single page in here, this year's edition, we do it every year. We've done it for 21 years. I'm working on 22 now. This one was on weather. And I always think it's funny when we developed this, we were like, oh, the drought. It's going to be all about the drought. And then we had such a crazy winter, and it's about all the different weather that we experience in California and how some of that weather, in fact, the same weather, sun can be great for crops. Too much sun can be not great for crops. Same with rain and snow and wind and all of the different weather forecasts that we have. So on each page, there's a on-page activity that they can actually write in and complete on the page. And then there's like an extension activity that they can do in their classroom or do at home. So every student will get one. And we have 3 different versions that we're sending out. We also have some versions in Spanish. So if your population would like those, you can definitely let us know and we'll try to accommodate that request. So that's our What's Growing On newspaper. Right, we're going to transition to
All right, hello, everybody. We are going to do another Play with Your Food activity that's in your newsletter. This one comes from the November newsletter on apples. So if you should have all the ingredients in front of you, and we're going to kind of do this step by step together, and I'm going to do it with you. So we'll take our time and make this cool little apple owl. So you should have 2 apples, 1 marshmallow, 2 chocolate chips, 3 mandarin orange slices, and then 1 pretzel rod. So I'll give you a few seconds to gather your materials, have them in front of you. You'll need a knife to cut the apple. So you're going to take your apple and cut it in half. And then one half is going to be for the whole body, and then the other half you're going to use to slice and make wings. And then using your other half of your apple, you're going to cut thinly slices like this for the wings of the owl. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. I have 4 thinly sliced slices on the sides of the body of the apple. And if you guys need to, the picture of the apple owl is on the screen for an example. Once you have your thinly sliced apple slices on the sides to make the wings, you're going to make a rounded shape for the head. And when I did it, I just kind of used the other half of the apple when I cut it in half. It says to make it more of like a round shape, but it worked perfectly fine to have just a slice of an apple. And I'm setting it down on a paper plate to form it all together. Okay, hopefully you've had enough time to form the head, the body, and the wings. Next, you're going to take a marshmallow and slice it in half. You have 2 halves of the marshmallow, and this will be the eyes. You're going to take chocolate chips, 2 chocolate chips, and put those 2 chocolate chips in the center of the marshmallows to complete the eyes. I think I skipped this part of for the ears, but to make the ears, I just cut into the side of one of the apples, little triangular pieces to make those pointy ears at the top of the head. And then our last two steps, you're going to take a mandarin orange. This will be for your beak of your owl and then the legs. So go ahead and open up your oranges. I used one of the smaller slices for the nose and bigger pieces for the legs, just like the picture. And if you have younger students, you can have all of this pre-cut before you do this activity so that they can just have fun putting the apple owl together and then enjoying it at the end by tasting it. Okay, and I think the last thing we have to do is to grab a pretzel rod and place it at the bottom. So it's an owl perching on the pretzel rod, on the branch. I can get mine to stay. And at the end, you should have an apple owl. You can see mine. Next, we have Michelle Drake, who's going to come on here and talk with you guys. Michelle is the Director of Food and Nutrition Services for Elk Grove Unified School District, and she's going to be talking to you guys more about the grant and then the vision for implementation of this program.
Thank you, Morgan. So as she said, I'm Michelle Drake. I'm the Director of Food and Nutrition. I wanted to just take a second to say thank you all for attending. I hope you've enjoyed playing with your food. I wish I had apple slices and mandarins to do the same here in my office. I also wanted to say thank you to Mandy and Morgan for taking the time to go over the information with you. We still have a few slides when I'm done, but so don't log off yet, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you. I wanted to give you all a little background about why we're doing this. Our district has always had a strong foundation in nutrition education and farm to school. And we've always are looking for ways to expand our current programming. And so about a year ago, we had the opportunity to apply for a California Department of Food and Ag grant, what we call CDFA. And that grant, in kind of planning and determining what we wanted to do and where we wanted to build, we had three different areas that I should first say we were awarded the grant. So we were awarded $644,000 to highlight three areas that we wanted to strengthen in our district. I'll go over the two first ones, and then we'll finish with the after school program. But the first one is to partner with the culinary and agriculture CTE programs at Florin High School. They are going to be doing some hydroponic growing for us, and will also be increasing the amount of California grown and raised foods that we serve in our high schools and secondary schools. The second one was to work with hyper local farms, ranches, and processors. So just so far this year, if any of you are familiar with Jackson Highway, there's a farm out there called Davis Ranch. We have been purchasing fresh corn, watermelon, cantaloupe, zucchini, and cucumbers since the start of school that we have been implementing into our program. We've always wanted to purchase, but some of those items we haven't been able to process. So part of this grant was to give us the ability to process. So you can picture a full watermelon. We don't really have the capability to cut full watermelons for the sheer number of students we feed. So we've been able to create a partnership between the grower, the local farm here in Slough House, to take it to a processor, to have it cut and cubed, or to have the corn husked and either decobbed or on the cob. We bring it back to us, and then we send it out to our students. I think it's very cool. In the first 3 weeks of the program, we served 13,000 pounds of watermelon approximately. Can you imagine what 13,000 pounds of watermelon looks like in 3 weeks? And now we've been doing it for a couple months. So the impact that we can have on our communities by partnering with different organizations in our community to get that produce into our students. And then that builds into what we're asking you and the after school programs to do, and that is to continue to put in front of children the importance of eating healthy fruits and vegetables, and how fun eating fruits and vegetables can be. We have a strong Harvest of the Month program in our daily day curriculum. And so by extending into the after school program, it's just another way to get a healthy snack in front of a child. And then they get to play with their food. How much more fun could that be? So the Harvest of the Month program in the after school program, Mandy went over a lot of the things that you'll be receiving. You should have received the binder, but my team here at Food Services will be working with the after school programs on what the monthly snack will be, what will be any communications that need to come out about the lesson plan or any produce that we'll be sending or working all that through. So you'll get information from either Ann Gaffney or Judita Traver about what the program looks like at your after school program. And it really just helps us to continue to create that healthy snack and the importance of fruits and vegetables and support California agriculture while we're doing it. So you are a very strong partner, being in our after school programs and working with our students, just as the California Foundation for Ag in the Classroom is. And so with that, I want to say thank you all for your help in implementing this program, and I'll throw it back to Mandy and Morgan so that they can move forward with the presentation.
All right, everybody. So that kind of concludes our Farm to School webinar training. Mandy and I want to say thank you. And if you have any questions, we'll put our emails in the chat so that you guys have those. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions.
So we are going to do the post-training survey now, and I will drop that link in the chat again. And I heard from a few people that the chat wasn't working at the beginning of the webinar. So if at this point you still have a burning question you want to ask, you can put it in the chat now. So we'll give you a few minutes to finish the this last survey really quick, another quick one. And then we'll be doing our door prizes right after. And we'll be pulling names from the survey respondents. So please make sure you complete it, not per school site, per person, because you want to get something for yourself. So we have a lot of great prizes. So I'll drop that now, and we'll see you in a few moments. All right. Thank you so much for answering those survey questions. We are excited to share some of the door prizes that we have for you. If you are a winner of any of the raffles, I will be emailing you tomorrow and following up to get where we should ship your door prize to. So please check your emails. And if you get one from Mandy, then you know it's about the door prize and you want to respond. So we're going to be giving out 2 sets of vinyl stickers, a sunflower grow kit, which is a whole classroom set of sunflower seeds and cups and everything you need for growing. 2 sets of this kid safe knife. There's 3 of them that come in each set, and then a cutting board. So hopefully you can do some of these activities safely with your after school program students. And then we have a few different sets of books, and we have a couple agriculture themed t-shirts to offer. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be drawing those names in just a moment. I think we're using those survey results and they're just getting finished up now. And I just want to remind you, if you have any questions, we're happy to try to answer those in the chat. And it sounds like Michelle will want you to stay on for a few minutes for some additional information as well.
I'm actually good. They can go at the
Got
end.
it
I
all.
just want to make sure they didn't hang up or get off before the survey.
Perfect. Thanks, Michelle. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the first thing we're going to be giving away is a set of vinyl stickers. And I know because I have school-age children that these vinyl stickers that go on your water bottles are hot commodities. And I love that these are produce themed. So you get a variety of different, California grown produce in your packet. So the first winner for that one is Sean Hicks. Congratulations, Sean. Hopefully your team is celebrating with you right now and not saying, oh, dang it, it should have been me. Okay, and then we have 2 sets of this. So the second winner is Kim Kelly. Will also receive the vinyl sticker. So wait for an email tomorrow for where to get those sent to. All right, the sunflower grow kit. We have 1 of those to give away, and Amanda Dixon is receiving the sunflower grow kit. We have, let's save the knife and cutting board set till the end, because I feel like those are kind of the grand prize, if you will. We have 2 agriculture themed t-shirts. It might be one of these that we're wearing tonight, depending on what size you need and what we have left, but we'll get you a t-shirt for sure. The first person is Gazelle Cruz. And the next person is Destiny Martinez. So congratulations, Giselle and Destiny. We have 3 sets of agriculture themed books that we'll be sending to 3 lucky participants. The first is Monique Purnell. Congratulations. The next is David Crockett and Claudia Gutierrez. So you 3 will be receiving the sets of books. Okay, we have 2 more prizes. Same prize, it's the knife and cutting board set. The first winner is Richard Santos. And the second one is William Utile. You'll be receiving those great kitchen tools for your after school program. Okay, great. And just a reminder, we'll be emailing you, getting all your contact information, shirt size, and then getting those out to you next week. So thank you for participating. I think we have one more final slide. That's an important one because it tells you where to go for everything farm to school, everything we showed you today. If you're like, wow, that was really a great resource, but now I have no idea where to get it. It's at learnaboutag.org. And if you scan this QR code, it will take you directly to the page that has all of our farm to school resources on it. And we have a lot. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.